Upcrate, Upcrate. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Colour Cave where we like to play with art stuff. My name is Jem and it is that time of the month again all of a sudden. These seem to come really quickly. I have the April Upcrate in front of me. This is the 20th Upcrate. So let's just get cracked in. So this is the monthly art subscription box which comes from Germany. Not dissimilar to other monthly type boxes, there are a few things that appear every month. There is a little magazine which is called the Bottle Post, which includes an art challenge for the month using the supplies that come in the box. There's usually a featured artist and some stickers as well, which is real nice. Oh, so here's our Bottle Post. It's interesting. Yes, this will be my topic. Okay. Now, if I just pop this out of the way here, I see pencil texture, instantly happy. So this is our featured artist, Takuva Illustrates. This is really nice. There's something really calm and nice about this, but it's got this nice mix of colour. I don't know whether it's Takuva or it's T-Kuva. Anyway, they are the co-captain. Oh, it's Tatania Kuvaldina is Russian. Okay, so it's T-Kuva. That makes more sense. And she seems to like to draw a fair bit of animal, wildlife and flora and fauna just by some of her Instagram pictures here. Her stuff's really nice actually. I like this a lot. Okay, so you can check out her Instagram if you want to see more of her work. We've got our stickers. Think outside the box, so the stickers actually cut through the writing, which is quite entertaining as well. I see you drawing. That's so nice. I really like that. This design tickles me. These little kind of periscope eyeballs. There's there's two there in sticker form. Oh, that's tickled me. Okay, we've got some paper. So this is a sketch pad, medium fine A5, 180 GSM, and it is Clairefontaine paper, which has a reputation for being really good quality paper, so that excites me first off. I'm not so keen on the slightly offensive shade of pink that the cover is, but I'll let that slide. And that feels thicker than 180. I would have said 200 if I was taking a guess at that, but that looks nice and it looks like it will take pencil. So onto the supplies. Pink, yeah, I'm enjoying the sort of pink and turquoise theme here. They're two colours that go really well together. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Okay, first of all, we have a Loop fine liner. Now, we've had Loop paint pens before. They were really good quality items. I kind of like Loop stuff. I've never tried one of their fine liners though. Oh, this is nice. A 0.1. It's got quite a nice firm chunky barrel, which I like, and that's got quite a robust ferrule on it. It kind of feels like a paint marker, like just a really skinny one, like it feels quite solid. I like that a little. Whoa. Okay, the next thing that we have is a Spectrum Noir Classique marker. I've actually got another two of these that someone gave me. And these have a chisel nib and like quite a fine bullet tip on them. And this is cyan. So we've got this twin tip marker. To be honest, I don't know how much I will ever use the chisel nib of a marker. There's definitely a learning curve to them, and I spoke about this recently in another video. I just don't really have a knack for it. So there is the chisel nib. It's quite junky. Here is the fine tip, which I actually really like. It's a really good size. So this is an alcohol based marker. So we'll give that a little bash and see how we get on with that too. And finally, we have a set of 12 colour blend pencils by Spectrum Noir. And this set is Bold Brights. So it says here, artists blending pencils. I haven't had the pleasure of trying these pencils, and it was interesting because I recently passed up the offer of quite a large set of these, and I didn't take it because I thought it might be a bit of a gamble. So that's quite interesting. Maybe my spidey senses were tingling because I knew I was getting a subscription box. Okay, colour blend pencils bring you affordable artists' quality and premium performance. Right, I'm instantly sceptical about that. There is a reason that you pay premium money. That, you know, the people don't just make pencils and make them crazy expensive for fun. Obviously there's profit involved in that, but that I really don't like claims like this. I'm instantly suspicious. So we shall hold that for the moment. They are wax-based pencils. Now, it says premium performance. So if they do perform to a premium, and they're saying they're artist's quality. What that tells me is the corner has to have been cut elsewhere, because you can't have all those things at a cheaper price than the more premium brands. And my suspicion is that these will not have proper Lightfast ratings, and that's where the catch, not the catch, yeah, the catch is, if you like. So let's take a wee look at these. Oh, I like that they're in a little tray. That's nice. The tin's fairly robust as well. It's hinged, so you can keep them in the tin. Now, it is a thicker barrel pencil, which I tend to favour, and it's round and it's got quite a smooth coating on it. They do have colour names, which I like, as well as the dipped ends. So the obvious things I'm going to be looking for here is, does the dipped end match the core colour? Already, am I thinking the answer is no? And this one in particular has caught my eye. If you look at the tip on this, see if I just turn that pencil, can you see where the wood goes all the way up the side of the core? So on one side I've got a lot of core showing, but if I turn it over, I've got next to nothing showing. What that means is that the core is off centre. So there we go, straight away, there's nothing premium about that. Now this does happen occasionally. It doesn't really affect the performance of the pencil. It's the same with this one as well. It seems to be something to do with the purples. Yeah, it's not really an issue. It's not going to stop you colouring, but it just means you end up sharpening more, which means you're losing more of the pencil. Although they're quite chunky in terms of diameter, they feel quite light. They do feel like cheap pencils, I am not going to lie. We will not make any judgments at this early stage. I would like to see them on paper, and that'll give us a better idea of what we're dealing with. The colours are lovely though. I really like the look of this seagrass. I am lamenting the fact that there is no true green. We do have this here, which to me is a turquoise colour. They've got some quite interesting names, some of them as well, seagrass. But there's no green to speak of yet. There's 1, 2, 3 blues and a greeny blue. So, in terms of what you would get in a set of 12. Now obviously this kind of set, you would buy these for a specific purpose, and I'm imagining you can get other sets, you know, like other ranges. This would not be my first choice. But in terms of bright, colourful pencils, they do look so pretty. So we shall get to those just shortly. I was going to say, let's take a look at the bottle post. That's if I don't throw it on the floor. Here we go, here's the supplies. I like the fact that everything, you know, like they've got the nice pink pad and the colourful pencils. I say I really like this sort of turquoise and pink. Okay, so let's talk about these pencils. Recommended retail price is €20, which is around £18 UK. That seems awfully expensive. And I would definitely say that these would fall into the premium category. Now, hang on a minute here. Affordable artist quality and premium performance. So these are definitely in the artist grade pencil price bracket. I don't know. Premium grade pencils, great alternative to pricier fine art brands. To be fair, I think I'd probably just pay the little bit extra and get the premium brands if they're Lightfast, because this does not mention Lightfast. The rich wax-based pigments in their 4mm thick core guarantee a velvety colour laydown with unrivaled blendability, and they're Lightfast too. Are they though? They have no Lightfast ratings on them. Maybe we'll have to check out the website, because I am very suspicious of companies claiming something's Lightfast. 144 colours, so there's a massive colour range, and you can purchase in sets of 12 and 24. So again, that's how they're making their money. If you were to require all 144 pencils, obviously if you buy a large set of pencils in one tin, they tend to work out cheaper. So that's another kind of red flag to me. So that's quite interesting to note as well. Let's just do a quick calculation here. Where's my phone? So the packs of 12 pencils are €20. So multiply that by 12 and that would give you your 144 pencils. That's €240. Okay, these pencils better be something really special for that kind of money. Obviously, if you bought the sets of 24, it would probably work out slightly cheaper, but even at that, that's a stack of cash. Spectrum Noir marker. I really like this in terms of alcohol markers because of this little bullet tip. High durability, Japanese quality nibs, smooth blendable colours are the most noticeable features of the Spectrum Noir Classique markers. Enhanced barrel and cap design make these pens comfortable to hold. Yes, I agree with that. And as you're colouring, the lids match the shade you're working with. We'll be the judge of that. All Classique markers come with a premium bullet tip for finer details and a premium chisel tip for bolder swipes of colour. To top it off, these markers are refillable. Now for me that is a huge plus. Anything that's refillable gets a thumbs up from the cave. Okay, practical design, durable materials. I did say that felt quite substantial. Water-based, black ink, writing, sketching, drawing, blah blah blah. They're about as essential as a sail or a paddle. Okay, they do have different sizes as well. It doesn't actually tell you whether it is waterproof or archival. It is water-based ink, but there's quite a lot of fine liners now that are water-based, but once they're dry, they're like water-resistant. So maybe that's something we could test out. Okay, and the paper. Off-white paper, particularly well suited for dry techniques, pencil, charcoal, chalk, medium fine grain, and art that requires detailed shading. This paper is acid-free and pH neutral. I'm quite excited to try this paper actually. Okay, so here's the bit about the co-captain and this little sort of question and answer type thing so you can find out a little bit more about them. And she's also left some special tips to work with these supplies. Use markers to create a base for coloured pencils and build up on it. I like to do that sometimes as well. See if you just want to cover the paper with colour. It's really satisfying because you can do it really quickly with markers. When you work with a limited colour palette, assign each object a different core colour. For example, in this illustration, she's talking about the one that came in the box. The anemone's base is wineberry, while for the fire corals I used dusty pink and ladybug for the central one and goldfinch for the right one. To make a harmonious artwork, repeat colours throughout the piece. That's something that I talk about quite a lot, is about keeping some sort of cohesion and uniformity in a piece, and it's something that I do especially in busier pictures, you know, where there's a lot of things going on. It's nice kind of to refer back to that one shade, you know, and just kind of dot it about because it makes everything feel as if it all belongs in the one page or on the one piece of art. To add variety to your artwork, make some objects primarily warm and keep others mainly cool. For instance, the anemone and water are cool, whereas the fire corals are warm. Excellent advice. Okay, oh, I forgot about this. I better bleep that out. So this was from Upcrate 18. That was the Upcrate battle for that was Echo. And I decided to go with a cave, ironically. And there it is. They spoke to me about this such a long time ago and completely forgotten about it. My favourite out of the ones that are here, obviously not included that. I absolutely love the style of this one. I just think that's, it's very distinctive, and I always like things like that because I feel as if like I don't have a distinctive art style, so I really appreciate stuff like this. But this one here of the parrot is just amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Okay, anyway, let's move on. I don't need to talk about myself. God. How to draw 2D landscapes. So this is like a wee mini tutorial here. They're talking about building things up in layers. Now this doesn't necessarily mean for digital art. You can do this with traditional art as well. But this is quite interesting, and there is someone who, I can't remember his name right now, who does paper artwork, and it's like layers of paper. I follow him on Instagram and his stuff's amazing, but I cannot for the life of me remember his name. But he does this kind of thing with traditional art, and it's amazing. It's so good, and I really like this. Again, this appeals to me. Okay, we've got our Sailor of the Month, Louise. And again, I think I've seen this person before. She's Danish. I like this. This is really pretty. Very nice. Coloured pencil drawing, how to do. So we've got some tips and things on using these coloured pencils. Talks about hatching, burnishing, you know, all that kind of stuff. So if coloured pencils isn't something you're familiar with or something you're used to using, I strongly suggest reading this. It talks about quite a few interesting things. Unbox your creator. Just it really tickles me. And here's our little quiz. Okay, we have a nice postcard to cut out. So they are still including the postcard because it was missing at one point. They'd kind of stopped doing it, hadn't they? Am I talking rubbish? No, I think they did stop doing them when they changed to this magazine format. So the Upcrate battle is on the back, and the battle topic is Underwater Paradise. That's a really nice battle topic. Well, I'm quite excited about that. So that's good because at least these pencils will live up to that somehow. So what we'll do is we'll have a quick swatch out of these supplies and just see what they're all about, and then we can jump straight into our Upcrate battle. Quite excited about this paper, not gonna lie. First things first, I want to see if this alcohol marker is going to bleed, and I think it might. So I'm just gonna get this scrap of paper and I'm just gonna tuck it in behind here just in case. I'm quite curious to see how it goes down on this paper as well, and the answer is reasonably well. So you can see that with the chisel tip, the good thing about it is you can tilt it every which way and you'll get all sorts of different lines and things. These markers are, now this might be to do with the paper as well, but the marker feels like a little bit dry, but I think it's the texture of the paper because this has gone down really well. It's not particularly patchy or blotchy or anything like that. That's pretty good. The other thing I like about these in terms of alcohol markers as well is they don't stink to high heaven, because a lot of these alcohol markers are really whiffy. There is a smell off them, but it's not overpowering when you take the cap off. So here's this bullet tip. Now obviously that gives you a very consistent line and it doesn't matter what direction you're going in. I quite like it for hatching as well. Not that I use alcohol markers very often, but because you've got that consistency of the line width, it's really, really good for that. Can't complain. It's quite a nice colour as well, and it ties in obviously very nicely with these pencils. Okay, so a 0.1, so it's a fairly fine nib width. Nice consistent ink. There are a few gaps again, but this paper's got quite a bit of texture on it, so I'm not surprised at that. But if I move quickly, you can see there, that's quite delicate and it's also quite consistent as well. So that's pretty good. Right, what I want to do with this and what I'm curious about is I'm going to leave this to dry and then I'm just going to swipe a water brush over it just to see if it does have any water resistant properties, just because it doesn't say anything you know, either on the pen or in the information. I hate this. See, when they give you pencils, either sharpen it or don't sharpen it. Don't half sharpen it. I want a point, I don't want a blunt end. What's the other brand of pencil that do that? Oh, Black Widows, they do that as well, and I think Arteza do it too. Okay, that's a fairly nice pencil. These are quite soft. I think these are supposed to be sort of in the same vein as Prismacolors, and because they are soft, what that means is it's quite difficult to keep a point, but you will have absolutely no problems at all blending, and they did say that. So yeah, the tips in these are quite soft. They will wear down quite quickly, so if you use them regularly, you're going to go through them. Dipped ends definitely do not match the core. So that was Goldfinch, Bumblebee. They're layering up quite nicely on this paper too. Ladybug. In the UK we say ladybird. I wonder why we say bird. Probably because it's got wings, but it's also a bug, so you know. Anyway, just saying. I have to say the colours are very vibrant and I'm not having to press hard to get like a really nice lay down and like colour payoff. Oh, this is icicle, isn't it? Oh, that's delicate. Maybe a bit too delicate. Lagoon. Okay, most of the dipped ends are matching the colour of the core. I would say with the exception of the Goldfinch and the dusty pink. That's nowhere near, like nowhere near. So that makes me wonder if you had a larger set of pencils, is that something that you could get confused with? Because a range that has 144 pencils in it, there are going to be a few shades that are quite similar, quite close together. If anybody's tried these pencils and knows the answer to that, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear about that. I love this colour. Seagrass, you're my friend. It's definitely got a massive hint of green in it as well, and on here it really doesn't look like it does. This is definitely like more of a red hued blue on the dipped end, but that is definitely green. A green blue, I mean not actual green. Amethyst. Oh, see, that feels really scratchy. Oh no. Can you hear that? What is with that? Oh, I think there's some kind of impurity or inconsistency in this core of this one. If I go over that, you can actually see where I've scratched the paper. Probably going to have to hold that up. I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not actually because of the texture of the paper, but I have actually got scratch lines. Oh, it's still doing it. Okay, so that pencil's a nope. I don't know what happened to that, but okay. We've got indigo. Indigo, really? No, that's not indigo, that's purple. And this one's doing the same thing. Oh, I forgot about my bleed through. Okay, so the alcohol marker, I digress. The alcohol marker is seeping through, but it's very, very slight. It's more like a bit of ghosting. There's absolutely nothing on this sheet of paper that I had underneath. So again, as long as you're not going absolutely crazy with it, it should be okay. Yeah, right, okay, this pencil is doing exactly the same as this one, and it's going into like scratchy mode, so that's a bit disappointing. Wineberry. See, this one feels really soft. These two felt really dry compared to the rest of them, and this one's back to the same as the rest. This is really buttery. That's quite a nice colour. This is another one with a wonky core. Orchid. Oh look, these two are like identical. Okay. There is not much colour difference between these two yet. Here we go again. For a curated set of 12 colours, this is a complete waste, an absolute and utter complete waste. They could have had something else. The other thing that strikes me about this as well is that apart from this one here, these are all mid-tones. Well, okay, maybe this one. Okay, two. These are all mid-tones, really. You know, you're going to find it difficult to get a lot of difference in value unless you start really layering them up. You know, and actually mixing your colours. Now, while there's nothing wrong with that, when you're doing an art challenge like this, it's nice to have a variety, and we're kind of lacking in it here. In terms of the pencils themselves, they're okay. I can't say that I'm absolutely over the moon. This was horrible, absolutely horrible. If they're soft, yeah, they're pretty smudgy, which I expected as well, because you're going to get that with soft pencils. I want to just try and do a quick blend as well. I'm aware that I'll probably end up doing this in the actual artwork anyway, one would hope. So let's just see, because they were bragging about their blendability, and they are fairly nice pencils. Like, they're not horrible pencils. I don't know, I'm really suspicious of them for some reason. Yeah, they're blending fairly well. I don't really like to use my pencils in this way, to be honest. I'm more of a layering person, but they do blend quite well. You're getting that nice orange patch in the middle there. Yeah, okay, so they do blend well. I'll give them that. Oh my. Okay, so our fine liner is absolutely, definitely not waterproof, but because it's water-based, we can play about with it. Ooh. Now that might come in handy. It's a shame these are wax-based pencils. If there's a way that we could work this in, that would be quite interesting. Right, I am just going to go and grab myself a cup of tea, give myself 5 minutes to have a little brain fart, and then we shall come back and we shall tackle the Upcrate battle, which is underwater paradise. Righty ho ho, so I've set myself up a bit better now. I have a cup of tea, so all is right with the world. And I'm kind of like, obviously just thinking, you know, off the cuff here, but I kind of railroaded myself into one idea. I feel with this prompt that there's only so many ways you can go with it, unless it's going to be a sort of tenuous link. But what I want to draw, I'm kind of debating whether to do it landscape or portrait, and I don't know which way is going to be better. So I'm going to go portrait and just see what happens. Now, we don't have a sketching pencil. I'm a bit sad because I didn't get the chance to say it's a pencil. So I'm just going to use one of the lighter kind of yellowish colours to sketch out, because that'll be quite easy to conceal. And the other thing as well is we've got this marker, and because of the colour of blue that it is, really realistically there's only so many things you're going to use it for, and I just want to kind of like map out a few things here. So when I'm thinking about this prompt, what I'm thinking about is a place of solace, and maybe it's for some sort of underwater species, or maybe it's for, you know, a made-up imaginary peoples. I don't know. I haven't had a lot of time to think about this. But what I'm starting to do here is I'm thinking about like a little corner or like a nook or cranny of the ocean where everything's very peaceful, and it's maybe a place where the creatures of the seabed go to meditate or be by themselves, or, you know, something like that. Just a little place on land. I would think about it as somewhere where if you went, it would give you, you know, an immense sense of well-being and peace. So kind of like an underwater version of that. That's where I'm going. So I'm just starting off here with a background. Now I'm trying to pick these colours carefully. I would like to use the alcohol marker because it's been included in the box, but I was talking about this mid-tone problem earlier, and that blue, you know, depending on what colours you're going to use beside it, it might just sort of make the pencil disappear. In this little place that we've got, it's basically a little corner of the ocean, and there is a massive and perfectly formed oyster with a huge pearl in the middle of it. So it's the kind of place where the little fish are going to swim up and be like, wow. And for some reason I was thinking like strings of lanterns. I don't know. Like obviously like if it was on land I would have like a park bench or something, or you know, like a little picnic area somewhere nice to sit, but we're under the water. There's not to say I can't put a park bench in, but let's not complicate things. And then we'll bring this down. I'm trying not to press too hard because I don't want like a huge outline, you know, like a car. Well, this is, you know, this is an illustration. There's no doubt in that. That was the other thing. While I was making my cup of tea, I did have a look, and the recommended retail price that's in the bottle post, the RRPs are always really high. You know, you can find things more, you know, a lot cheaper if you look online. And I did find the 24 sets of pencils. I found them on sale for £18 each. So if you were to build up your set of 144, I think it was, with the 24 sets, it's significantly cheaper than the recalculation that we did earlier. So I just thought that was something I should be mentioning. So just by doing this, and you all know I'm a great advocate for the that first layer of pencil and mapping out your colour, you'll start to see the shape of the pearl coming in now. So we're going to have some sand in here. I was just seeing if we could make some sort of half decent green. That's a lot of layers, to be fair, and that's a questionable green. At least I can do it though. Maybe there's some sort of plant here. Right, I'm going to have to sharpen this. This is one of my wonky core pencils. I'm going to try it in the Tagal sharpener just to see what happens. And I'll go for a middle-sized point. So and three is in the middle. Oh, okay, that's a really tight fit. Haha. Sharpens fairly well in that sharpener, actually. Better than the Derwent sharpener. Right, this is going to seem crazy, but I'm putting in the line of where I want my lanterns to hang. Okay, so I'm fairly happy where I've got stuff mapped out. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in with the alcohol marker and start to fill in this background area, because I feel as if I'm kind of messing about here, and faffing is the word that I would use. And I need to not faff. So now I'm wondering if I go over the pencil with the marker, whether because it's wax it's going to act as a resist, or whether it's just going to be annihilated. That's answered my question. I think I might have given myself a job here. I don't know. This wasn't as streaky when we tested it out. At least I found a use for my chisel nib. Look how streaky that is though. Look how streaky that is. Oh boy. May have to go over this several times. Now this is to do with the fact that we're working on textured paper, and generally you don't really want to be using alcohol markers on textured paper all the time. Number one, because it wrecks your nibs, but secondly, because this is what happens, you know, unless you really take the time to saturate the paper. And I'm having to kind of work to do this. Like, oh, that's not nice. And I don't know what it is, but this seems to be a thing with Upcrate, giving your random marker in with another set of supplies. They've done it quite a few times, and it's starting to get on my goat a little bit. Okay, wow, that was an effort. So now if I'm going to go on top of this was the original pencil that I used for the, you know, the greenery in the background, and it's like just not there. So I'm going to have to use the darker one, which I didn't want to do, but there you go, at least that's showing up now. So like sea grasses maybe. Now if I take this mid-tone blue, kind of hoping that if I can go over this a little bit. This is just to kind of like frame the top of the picture, but again, you can hardly see that. I don't know whether, right, I've got a bit of a thing here, and it's something that I wouldn't, like, it didn't necessarily click in my head until I've started doing this. The combination of what is a really toothy paper and really soft pencils, see, in terms of a combination that you want to work with, that's not it. And I actually think that the paper is hindering the pencils in this case, and vice versa. And that teamed with not having any dark tones, you know, I was talking about this collection of mid-tones that we've got here, because I am really struggling. I just want to build up a bit of a sort of a vignette style effect here, and that's me. Like, I'm on my third pencil on my 7th layer, and you can barely see it. So in terms of creating an artwork with the supplies that were provided in the box, they've made it as difficult as possible for us this month. The pencils and the paper are just like, nah, like, well, what do we want to do this for? And the thing is, I really like the paper. This kind of paper is right up my street, but I wouldn't use such a soft pencil with this paper. And I kind of get the feeling that I'm going to end up using this purple pencil for everything. Like, this is going to be, this is just going to be, okay, this is the shadow pencil, so everything's going to have a purple tint to it, which is kind of what's happening already. See, even if they'd given us a graphite pencil, and I know that's ridiculous because I'm always like, it's just a pencil. But if they'd given us a graphite pencil, this might have, you know, it would have helped because we would have had some sort of contrast in terms of the medium that we're using. Whereas here, we're just kind of literally swimming in a sea of mid-tones. Also as well, because I've got so many layers of pencil around the outside here, it doesn't want to take this layer. It's like, nah, I don't want to do that, Jem. Okay, well, I got there with that. I've kind of got what I'm looking for. Now, it's interesting, in the time that I've been sitting here, although it's been quite a long time, I've done a lot of sharpening. So that just backs up what I was saying about the softness of these pencils. They are really, really soft. It's an experience I've had with Prismacolors. That's probably the softest pencil that I've had, you know, a fair amount of experience with. And you kind of start to worry because especially if you get a colour combination that you really like, you kind of run the risk of, am I going to wear this pencil down and can I get them open stock? And I don't think you can buy these open stock. And it's, again, something I've talked about quite a lot in terms of brands of pencils and you know, why they're so cheap. They claim to be artist grade pencils. There has to be a downside somewhere. There's, you know, there's something has to offset the fact that they're so cheap. And I think maybe it might be an open stock thing. Now, to be fair, I haven't looked, so don't quote me on that. I don't know. I'm sure one of you guys could tell me in the comments. That would be lovely, actually, if you could do that. I am having a better time. I just would like to say I'm having a better time with these pencils not working on top of the ink marker. They seem to be going down a little bit better, so that might be just a good point to note. They seem a little bit easier to work with, but I'm not going to lie to you, this is hard work. Pencil is always hard work, and it's always going to be hard work because it's that type of medium, but you're not going to intentionally make things more difficult for yourself if you can help it, because it's a very slow medium to work in. And if you want to get anything, I'm getting that really scratchy thing going on again as well. It's actually scratching the paper. There's no pigment going down. Oh boy. Yeah, you're not going to make things intentionally harder for yourself if you can help it, because you're going to be slow and methodical anyway, and you don't want to draw that process out, no pun intended, any more than you actually have to. I wish I could show you this. It's too small to see, but the pencil is rubbing against the paper, but there's no pigment coming off it. It's the binder that's in the pencil, which is clear normally, and that holds like all the elements of the pencil together, and it's just creating these white scratchy marks on the paper. So in terms of being high quality pencils, I have to disagree. Like, I really do. It's just not doing anything. I wouldn't say I'm at the point where I want to stop, but it seems to be the purples. I don't know why, but it's the purples. I'm going to sharpen this up and see. Maybe it's just like a little bit of the, you know, sometimes you get like little blemishes in the cores. They do sharpen really well with that Tagall sharpener. No, it's still happening. Oh, can you hear that? Ah. Okay, it's that this indigo pencil is letting these pencils down. It's just ruining. It's actually ruining my drawing. It does just seem to be these purple pencils though, because even if I jump to the orchid, which is this, you know, pinky purple, it's perfect. It's absolutely fine. So I have no idea what's going on. But it's not good. Like, it's not good. And you cannot create, you know, if you were to do a pencil illustration for someone, for a client, and this happened, like, you couldn't sell it to them, you couldn't do it. So I highly contest the artist grade claims of these pencils, because you can't have that. You need to have consistency across your range of products if you're going to market it for that sort of thing. But again, I'm wondering how we would get on different paper. If that's something that you would like me to explore, please let me know in the comments, because I honestly think it would be a worthwhile exercise. And even now, the blending capabilities, they're getting kind of ruined here, which is a shame. You can still blend, but you really have to like mash it into the paper. Okay, so I've moved on to the sand area, and again, limited pencils here. There's only so much I can do. So I've decided to use the Goldfinch, which is the traditional yellow, like the straight yellow, for the base colour. And then I'm jumping between the Bumblebee, which is the slightly more golden colour, and the red pencil that we've got as well, which is Ladybug, and that's just to get some shadow and things in. So that's the kind of combination we're going to use for that. I just wanted to add a little bit of, kind of give it that little bit more of a round shape and make it look pretty. That looks quite nice. We'll leave it. I don't want to overwork that whole pearl situation, so we'll just leave that be. And as I say, we'll do some work here on our sand. I really want to be careful here. I don't want to overdo the red here because it is quite bright, and I know, you know, we're going for an illustrative feel, and that's absolutely fine, but I don't want it to be overpowering because it's not really a defining feature of this picture. And I want to have some sort of ledges here as well, so, you know, as if this is kind of almost up on a pedestal. Oh my goodness, that was my stomach growling. I'm so hungry today. I don't know what's wrong with me. I have eaten. Now see, again, in an ideal world I would have a darker shade so that I could put some shadow in underneath, you know, to give that impression that it's like a ledge. But we've got to work with what we've got. This is part of the challenge. Okay, moving on down. Now I'm bearing in mind as well that we do have the fine liner, and it's going to be a case of picking and choosing what we want to accentuate. I get a little bit of foliage in here. Now I'm going to have to try and squeeze some sand colour in these gaps here. I've really not made this easy for myself, but I'll be fine. That's getting very muddy though. Again, these pencils are really soft, so you know. Okay, so we've got these lanterns now, and I basically just want them to be really cheery and really bright, and I am going to outline them. I have no idea why I've got this fixation with lanterns on here, but yeah, it's just something that I really want to do. So I'm gonna go flat colour, get those in there. They're gonna be almost like Christmas lights. There's something really fun about just using straightforward colour. You know, there's something very nice and simplistic, and I don't know, there's just something good about it. Makes me feel good. And I don't know why, but it does. Whee! There, this is the fun part. We like the fun part. Now I do want to have a yellow one. And again, not too concerned because we're going to be using the fine liner situation. I kind of want a green one, and as previously tried and tested, I think I might risk it for a biscuit in terms of a lantern. So it was the mid-tone blue, which I'm just trying to figure out which freaking one it was. It's this one. And then the was it the bumblebee? No, the goldfinch yellow on top of it. I'm slightly offended that there was no green involved in this set of pencils. That goes against all the cave values. They're just, the blending's really untidy as well. It's, I don't know. I really want to like these pencils as well. Right, that's about as good as that's going to get, I think. A blue one here. I'm confused with my pencils again. I think it's the wineberry that I want. The wineberry and the orchid are about the same colour. Oh my goodness. Use this for a little bit of detail, and it just makes this pop out a bit more, because that pink colour, it is quite a delicate little shade. And it's going to kind of get lost in when I put the sand in. Just help it along a little bit. That's a happy little piece of coral in there. I feel like this plant's a little bit lonely here, so I'm going to add in some more seagrass. You know, it's looking kind of sparse. I'm thinking there's going to be like a little path. Maybe it's made of shells. Or maybe there's like a little circle of pebbles or something around here. You know, maybe this is where people go and sit to meditate, or, you know, maybe we'll just pop them in there like that. And you see, unfortunately as well, this light blue, it's really, really delicate, and it's not really sitting well in amongst the rest of the colours. It's gonna need a little bit of a helping hand, I think. Okay, so let's tackle this coral here as well. So this is a much bigger piece of coral, so we can put a bit more detail in that. I kind of want to have a starfish laying in the sand, you know, like chilling out in the sand, but again, it's back down to colours. I'm going to have like a purple starfish. I'm going back to this. I'm going to use wineberry. I don't like, the wineberry and the orchid are interchangeable as far as I'm concerned. So kind of what I did over here, but just on a bigger scale and with a lot more blending, because that's really what these pencils are designed for. So, you know, we want to utilise that and make it worthwhile. We might as well get some enjoyment out of these pencils. And they are really easy to blend, like they're nice to blend. Now you can see that I'm putting a little bit of pressure on this, you know, to get that sort of blendability. And the colours are really vibrant, like they're really bright. Maybe have a bit more of this darker colour down at the base here. Again, I feel as if I have to pull in this darker pencil here, because we could do so much more with this if we had, you know, just a little bit more going on. So I can really like pull out and define areas just by using this darker pencil. But again, it's basically the whole picture just turning into everything's purple. And this is just a case of being methodical and taking your time and sort of working your way around. And this is where like you really do have to have patience for coloured pencil. I've been sitting here for 2 hours now, and I've not achieved a huge amount in 2 hours in the grand scheme of things, but that's just pencil, and it's the reason that I enjoy pencil, even if we're not in the most favourable of conditions right now. But that's okay. Like I'm still relaxed, I'm still enjoying myself, and for me specifically, that is what art is all about. It's supposed to be fun. I'm having to work a little bit harder than I would like at this time of day, but you can't have it always. And as I always say, these subscription boxes, they're always going to be a bit of a gamble sometimes. I'm happy that we've got pencils. Like I'm always happy to get pencils. So I'll literally take the rough with the smooth. Very methodical. I like methodical things. I am a science-based person. I have no idea where the light source is for, you know, like the power source for these lanterns are. Maybe they're powered by underwater glow bugs or something. Try and get another layer of that down. Somehow it's not really doing much, but it's okay, it'll be fine. Now the problem with soft pencils is as well, it's very difficult to get detail in. By nature it wants to smoosh itself into the paper and go blendy, which is, you know, what we've been doing. So if you want to get any sort of sharp details, you have to not press hard, keep a really good point, you know, like you have to keep sharpening basically. So they're not good for detail. And it's one of the reasons why I really don't like them, because I quite like farting about, you know, putting all the details in and that sort of thing. That's kind of my bag. It's not that you can't do it, you absolutely can do it, but it's just hard work. Okay, so I'm going to make this a little bit more obvious around here that this is like a stone circle kind of thing. Kind of shot myself in the foot a little bit with the lantern situation, but those lanterns were going in there like that was happening. Just, no two ways about it, that was happening. So I'll bring my sand down to somewhere here. I need to kind of get in between my coral now as well. Here we go, this is going to be fun. I should really have done this side last because I'm starting to smear it a little bit. I seem to be working in a really awkward fashion with this, and I know exactly why. It's because I'm not entirely sure, because this is like a half-cocked idea. So stuff like that tends to happen. You know, like all normal technique and sensibility kind of goes out the window a wee bit, just because you're thinking on your feet as you go along. And it's something I'm quite guilty of, but it's not a big deal. It's not, you know, it's not really an issue. It's just not what I would normally do. You can hear my Jack Russell flapping her ears somewhere else in the house as well. We've got a kind of corridor that runs from the back part of the house to the front part of the house, and it just acts like a sound tunnel. Everything filters through. Here she comes. Hi, boo. And she's off. She just kind of gives me this withering look now on the way past. She doesn't actually bother coming to see me, and it's because I don't have any food, because Woo's not interested unless you've got food. Man, this is epic. I am not looking forward to editing this video, like I'm really not. It's actually nice having the two shades of yellow, I have to say. That's definitely been advantageous. But I would love like a really dark indigo blue, or you know, like a royal purple or something would have been really nice just to help us out a bit here. But I'm going to start with my little lanterns here. Now, out of everything, this is the most difficult part for me, because I don't get on well with ink when I'm doing things like this, because if I make a mistake, I can't erase it. Now, this fine liner is not going down well on top of thick layers of pencil, and obviously it's because it's wax. I just wanted some lanterns. Not only am I not good at outlining, but to make me go in a circle's just mean. Like, it really is, it's mean. And I can't go round in one fell swoop. My hand it just won't work for me. But I'm going to do my best here to try and keep this as neat as possible. My hand's not bad today though. It's I like how fine this fine liner is though. It's not it's not overbearing in any way, shape or form. It is a bit of a shame though that it's not going so well over the pencil. Again, probably not liking the texture of the paper much either. If I was a fine liner, I wouldn't like the texture of this paper either. Like there's actually just nothing going down now. So the moral of the story is do your outlining first and then colour in pencil, but because I haven't always decided, especially when it's like, you know, we're doing things like this in this, you know, in this style of video, because I've not entirely made up my mind about things. I can't say definitely where I want things or, you know, what is going to be the focal point, so it wouldn't make sense for me to be outlining things in case I don't actually want them outlined. I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense in my brain anyway, but... Right, I'm going to call it done at that. I don't really know how I feel about this, to be honest. I'm not even going to be able to write my name on top of this, look. I can't even sign it. The nib's so clogged up with wax, it's untrue. Oh, there we go, maybe. Oh, I've managed a G. Come on, pen. You can do it. It's only a bit of wax pencil. Oh, no, come on. Right, that's it. I'm done. All right, so definitely a mediocre artwork, but that's fine. I've quite enjoyed myself. Final thoughts. I actually really like the paper and I really like the fine liner. I'm on the fence about the pencils. There's some things that are really infuriating about them, but there's some things that are really nice about them. As a box, I do, and this marker, I mean, like, could have just done without that. I really didn't need it. As a box of procured items, they don't work well together, and I really don't think that they've thought about, and maybe it's just because they're not into coloured pencils, but this paper and these pencils don't play well together. It was the wrong combination, but that's not to say that they wouldn't stand well on their own. I will use this paper because I like the texture on it. I think the pencils need another chance, and I want to keep this fine liner, so actually really good supplies, but just say not together. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope you've learned something. I would love to hear your thoughts on the box and possibly the artwork as well, but please be nice, and maybe we can have a little bit more fun with these pencils another time. You can let me know your thoughts on that too. I want to thank you very much for watching. It is Sunday, so there's stuff in the stash shop today. If you want to head to the website, you can go and check that out, and I will see you back in the cave Thursday for another video. So have a good day everyone, stay safe, bye for now.